The city of Gaza, once a dense and chaotic urban sprawl, now stands on the edge of total collapse. The sound of jets, artillery, and distant explosions has become part of daily life. But on September 15th, 2025, something different began. Israel launched what it called its final ground invasion of Gaza City, a move unlike anything seen before in this long, devastating conflict. This wasn't another short-term operation aimed at crippling a militant network or destroying a few key tunnels. No, this time, Israel made its intentions clear. The objective is complete control. Israeli officials have openly stated that the goal is not just to defeat Hamas militarily, but to establish a long-term presence across Gaza City itself. It's a massive strategic shift, one that suggests Israel is preparing for a future where Gaza is no longer simply a neighboring threat, but a territory under direct Israeli oversight and dominance. The scale and scope of an unprecedented invasion. This invasion isn't just larger, it's historical. Israel has mobilized an estimated 60,000 to 80,000 reservists, the largest deployment ever seen in the Gaza conflict. Entire armored divisions have been moved into position, supported by heavy artillery, drones, and advanced surveillance systems. It's a show of force meant to signal that this time the operation won't end with a ceasefire or temporary withdrawal. The focus has shifted to Deir al-Balah, an area previously avoided by Israeli ground troops. Now it's the center of attention, a key battleground. The reason? Deir al-Balah lies in the heart of Gaza, offering a strategic advantage for controlling the city's central routes. Until recently, the region was believed to be a stronghold for Hamas operatives and possibly a hiding place for hostages. But with negotiations collapsing and international mediation failing, Israel's patience seems to have run out. Israeli officials describe this phase as the decisive campaign, a final effort to dismantle the remnants of Hamas's military presence and reshape the entire security map of Gaza. Why launch another ground offensive now? After nearly a year of relentless bombardment following the October 7th attacks, many questioned why Israel would risk another massive ground invasion. After all, large-scale operations in densely populated urban environments are costly, both militarily and politically. Yet Israel's military command argues that airstrikes alone can't eliminate what remains of Hamas's operational structure. The answer lies in the evolution of Hamas's tactics. The group has adapted, not by growing stronger in numbers or firepower, but by becoming more elusive. Their fighters no longer operate under centralized command. Instead, they've adopted a decentralized insurgency model, small, autonomous cells that act independently. They no longer rely on traditional command centers that can be targeted and destroyed. These groups blend into the population, emerging only when an opportunity presents itself. For Israel, that means one thing. No matter how many bombs are dropped, Hamas continues to reappear in new forms. So, the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, have shifted strategy from containment and punishment to occupation and control. Hamas's shift to guerrilla warfare. Inside Gaza, Hamas has abandoned large-scale formations. Its fighters now move silently through the labyrinth of tunnels, basements, and alleyways, setting traps and ambushes. This shift has made them incredibly hard to target. They've mastered urban guerrilla warfare, using hit-and-run tactics, improvised explosive devices, IEDs, and sniper fire from hidden positions. Rather than confronting tanks head-on, these fighters wait for moments when Israeli troops dismount or move through narrow streets. They strike quickly, then vanish through tunnels that connect entire neighborhoods underground. What's more, these tunnels aren't just for movement. They serve as storage areas for weapons, medical supplies, and even command posts, allowing the group to sustain operations long after the surface has been destroyed. The IDF faces an enemy that's not only decentralized but also unpredictable. Every corner, every ruined building could be a potential ambush site. This kind of warfare drains morale and complicates every mission, forcing the Israeli military to adapt its combat tactics in real time. Remote demolition and precision assaults. To counter Hamas's underground and urban defense strategy, Israel has turned to technology-driven warfare. The IDF has begun deploying remote-controlled explosive vehicles designed to clear entire city blocks. These unmanned vehicles are packed with explosives and driven remotely through the narrow streets of Gaza. Once they reach a target building, often one believed to hide tunnels or militants, the operator detonates them, leveling the structure. It's a chillingly efficient method. By doing so, Israel reduces risk to its soldiers while maximizing destruction. But it also means that entire neighborhoods vanish block by block, turning once vibrant areas into fields of rubble. Officially, Israel says this method prevents close-quarters combat casualties. Unofficially, it's clear that it also serves another purpose: to render large parts of Gaza City uninhabitable, effectively pushing civilians southward. The humanitarian toll is staggering. Nearly 1 million Palestinians have been displaced since the offensive began. For many, there's nowhere safe to go. The evacuation routes are limited, and airstrikes continue even as civilians attempt to flee. The human cost and forced displacement. Unlike previous wars, this invasion includes what appears to be a planned mass displacement strategy. Israeli leaflets and broadcasts urge civilians to move south, away from combat zones. But the routes are narrow, overcrowded, and often under fire. What's emerging is a de facto no-man's land, a depopulated zone around central Gaza City meant to separate future Israeli positions from remaining civilian areas. Human rights groups have warned that this forced migration could create a long-term humanitarian crisis. Thousands live in makeshift camps, without access to clean water or electricity. Disease spreads quickly, and while Israel claims these actions are necessary for security, critics argue that the operation amounts to the systematic emptying of Gaza City, a move that may have long-lasting political consequences. Far beyond the battlefield, Israel's phased battle plan, a war in stages. The IDF's offensive follows a multi-stage military strategy designed for efficiency and precision. Phase 1 involves encircling Gaza City, cutting off all routes of escape or reinforcement. Drones are deployed for a week-long surveillance operation, mapping enemy positions and marking targets for aerial bombardment. The goal is to disorient Hamas, disrupt communication lines, and soften resistance before ground troops move in. Fighter jets, mainly F-16s, launch JDAM precision bombs, each guided by laser or GPS coordinates to destroy key command points and infrastructure. Phase 2 introduces special forces into the field. These elite units act as forward observers, using advanced communication systems to transmit coordinates to artillery units. They direct fire from self-propelled guns and iron sting-guided shells, precision munitions capable of penetrating concrete bunkers before detonating inside. Every strike is calculated, minimizing risk to Israeli troops while maximizing destruction to suspected militant hideouts. Phase 3 marks the full ground assault. Infantry troops enter Gaza using Nemer infantry fighting vehicles, heavily armored transports derived from Merkava tank designs. The Merkava acts as the spearhead, while the Nemers carry up to 8 soldiers each, ready to engage in close-quarters combat. Ambush scenarios and IDF response tactics. The IDF knows that every step deeper into Gaza increases the risk of ambush. Soldiers are trained for it, rehearsing split-second reactions to near ambushes in urban terrain. When attacked, gunners immediately return fire, deploying smoke to obscure enemy vision while repositioning. Infantry dismount, take cover, and begin returning suppressive fire. If a vehicle is hit or immobilized, soldiers inside deploy smoke grenades and fight from defensive positions until reinforcements arrive. Leaders quickly call for indirect fire or close air support, coordinating with nearby artillery or aircraft. The goal is to destroy the enemy position swiftly before sustaining heavy losses. Every engagement is documented, every movement tracked, to avoid repetition of past mistakes. Meanwhile, Hamas uses its tunnels to outflank Israeli armor, targeting the weaker rear sections of vehicles like the Nemer, where troops enter and exit. These ambushes are devastating, if successful, often leading to secondary explosions or casualties from fire. The result is a constant cat-and-mouse dynamic: technology versus adaptability. Armor versus tunnels. Order versus chaos. A war with no clear end. As the operation grinds on, the question remains: what happens after the invasion? Even if Israel seizes full control of Gaza City, governing it will be an entirely different challenge. The destruction of infrastructure, the displacement of civilians, and the lack of a stable political authority create a power vacuum that no military occupation can easily fill. Hamas may be weakened, but its ideology, rooted in resistance and defiance, continues to draw support amid devastation. And as history has shown, the aftermath of war often breeds new forms of insurgency. For Israel, the challenge isn't just military victory, it's what comes next. Because once the dust settles, Gaza will not simply be a battlefield. It will be a humanitarian, political, and moral test, one that could redefine the region for generations. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, press the subscribe button, and also drop your thoughts in the comment section.